young iBanking warriors.
Everyone to have an investment banker, and how does it actually help a company or a startup?
Primary objective that we have is to marry the investor's vision with the company's vision.
Enabling business reach the next level.
Which are the sectors and companies you believe one should watch out for in 2023?
Trezi, the metaverse company, is a tangible metaverse in the AEC space.
Okay.
Watch out for these spaces, because if you are going to invest or wanting to be part of them, get into these industries now.
NewsX India A-list proudly recognizes Mr. Adhiraj Mehra and Ms. Drishti Pahwa for excellence in business advisory.
Today we have with us in our studio Adhiraj Mehra and Drishti Pahwa. They are both working with a large network of investors, including private equity funds, VCs, early stage funds, HNIs, and large-scale family business houses, both in India as well as overseas. They help them raise growth capital via institutional investors and also facilitate mergers and acquisition transactions for large corporations as well as family businesses. If you want to know more about them, well, we are going to now find out through this conversation. So firstly, Adhiraj and Drishti, thank you so much for being with us today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Uday. Thank you for having us.
Adhiraj, let's get into firstly your introduction. Tell us a bit about both of you, what you do, and also we want to know more about AMDP Advisors and how your journey has been so far.
Oh, sure. But firstly, thank you so much, Uday. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much, NewsX A-listers. I think it's a brilliant initiative, and it's always good to be on TV to talk about your work. AMDP, as it stands for, Adhiraj Mehra, Drishti Pahwa. The company is named after us, and simple reason, you never do anything unethical when your name is involved. At least we try to. Look, we are a boutique investment bank based out of Delhi. We work with some of the larger private equity firms. We work with VC firms. We work with early stage capital. We work a lot with like-minded entrepreneurs. Typically, we are sector agnostic. We look at things with a different eye. We look at something as basic as agriculture or deeply rooted as agriculture as an industry, to us actually doing a deal a couple of months back in the metaverse space in the AEC industry. So that's sort of the broad spectrum. In terms of our thesis, we look at necessity-based businesses. I think it's really important that we focus on necessity-based businesses. We try to work with very good people, so promoters are of utmost importance. And obviously now things are moving towards profitability again, so I'm very happy to tell you that we try to work with profitable businesses and business models.
Now, Drishti, I have to ask you though, why do you believe it's essential for everyone to have an investment banker, and how does it actually help a company or a startup?
So very good question, Uday. In fact, let me tell you that we're actually the shoulder on which the gun is placed and fired from. So the iBanker does all the dirty work. You know, all the difficult things which investors and promoters cannot talk about directly, those are the things that we have to communicate. So our work is much more than just creating a business plan or making investor memorandums or, you know, pitch decks as they call it. There is a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes. In fact, because we are working with investors on a daily basis, we understand their mindset, we understand where they're coming from. So the primary objective that we have is to marry the investor's vision with the company's vision. So the iBanker does a lot of dirty work to make a complex situation look all rosy. And about 10 to 12 years back, this luxury was not available to us in our country.
Right. You know, Adhiraj, also as far as investors are concerned, what do they really think? What goes into their minds before they invest into a company or a startup nowadays?
I'm glad you brought it up. As I said, you know, I'm very happy that things have moved back to the traditional form of business. Again, the wave has come where investors are looking at profitable business models. Investors are actually looking at good promoters. Earlier, I think about 10 years back, there was this huge wave of, you know, increasing the valuation, putting in a lot of money, increasing the burn rates of companies. I think it's all come back now after COVID, and people have realized that the basics of business can never change. Uday, also, I would really like to point out one thing. I think for any organization or a team, whether it's a sport team, cricket team, whether it's our news channel, everything stems down from the top, right?
Yeah.
So your leader at the top, actually you imbibe their qualities. And what PM Modi has done, our honorable Prime Minister, in the last 10 years, he's changed the face of how the world looks at India.
Yes.
You know, earlier, every company that used to come to us, they used to want to work with foreign investors, foreign companies. Everyone used to tell me, I want to enter into the US markets, the UK markets, the UAE markets. And today, because of Mr. Modi and his initiatives, the biggest shift that has taken place is the mindset of Indian companies and Indian entrepreneurs. Every investor in the world today, whether it's from the UAE, whether it's from the US,
Yes.
whether it's from UK, they want to work with Indian companies, and that's beautiful.
Yes, and that's big, and that's certainly very, very good to hear it from you, because you're an insider in the industry. Now, but I have to ask you, you know, obviously, this is again something that will be very useful for those watching. Which are the sectors and companies you believe one should watch out for in 2023?
Well, I'll give you 4 or 5 of them. I think India is moving towards a lot of interesting and new sectors now. First one being sports. I think sports in India is largely untapped thanks to our dependence on cricket. But the ancillary sport market is going to grow big time.
Okay.
In fact, watch out for a company called Elevate Sports India, which is doing fantastic work in the kabaddi space. They have a product called Yuva. It's going to focus on more than 1,500 kabaddi players. It's brilliant. They've changed the landscape of kabaddi. Consumer tech is a big sector. Anyone innovating in consumer tech will become big.
Okay.
A company called Insta Astro is actually using astrology services to solve mental health issues, which is brilliant. They've just raised money. They're going to grow. The industry is going to grow as well. Coming back to something more traditional, there's a company called Devdutt Foods, which is actually an umbrella for masalas, for spices, and for dry fruits. No other company has that. They're going to actually shift to a more sort of D2C, B2C model in delivering everything to the clients. We've just concluded one amazing deal in the buzzword today, that's the metaverse, but this is very different.
Right.
Trezi, the metaverse company, is a tangible metaverse in the AEC space.
Okay.
Watch out for these spaces, because if you are going to invest or wanting to be part of them, get into these industries now. You know, and content creation is another one. Must focus on content creation. In fact, a company called Mugafi is doing it brilliantly. They're creating IPs, and these IPs are going to make you money. So watch out for these companies and these spaces. It's damn exciting.
Okay. Right, Adhiraj, that is of course a very, very interesting perspective that you've given us. My final question then is to Drishti. Drishti, what about the youth? You know, those who are hearing you both today, who perhaps aspire to set up their own firm, or maybe join AMDP one day. What should young students aspiring to be investment bankers focus on?
So my message to aspiring iBankers would be that firstly, it's a beautiful field to be a part of. Because you're continuously learning and upgrading yourself, and you're getting a chance to work with some of the finest minds, brightest minds in the industry in terms of investors and promoters. So it's a wonderful career option to have. Having said that, iBanking requires a lot of patience because deal making is a very complex process and it's very time consuming. So a transaction can take 10 days or it can take 10 months for it to conclude. So anyone whose salary is running the house, or anyone who's used to getting a fixed amount into their account every month, such a person will not be suitable for this profile. In fact, we at AMDP Advisors, whenever we are looking for candidates, the most important thing that we look for is patience, because it takes time to build your network within the industry, and it definitely takes time to build trust.
Yeah.
Also, someone who is willing to put in more than just the basic things that an iBanker does. So it's not just the IQ that matters here, it's also the EQ, the emotional quotient. Someone who has the ability to understand why certain decisions are taken by investors and promoters. such a person would definitely be valued and rewarded in our industry.
Okay, well, that's great advice to those watching, and thank you both so much once again for joining us on our show, Adhiraj and Drishti, and wishing you the very best in your journey ahead.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.